Beautiful insanity of the souls. Seductive pain. Part 85. Continuation. EXT Park, Day. Chris and Emma sit at the bench at a park. Emma, I had a dream singing at the Oscar last night. Chris, I didn't know you were an amazing singer. Emma, I can't sing. I was just pretending, you know, dying inside with self-conscious. But I won't lie to you. I was surprised that I had a beautiful voice. I felt I could give it a shot. Chris, if you are going to take it seriously, I can write you a couple of lyrics. Humorously, I am very good at hacking into humans' minds, just by looking at their eyes, reaching the depth of their hearts and reading their souls, and write their emotions as they were written on the stars. Emma, that would be something. But I am not planning to go to a tour and sing in front of millions like Scarlett Johansson. Chris, humorously, why do you have to bring her? Emma, I just want to raise your game. You know, if you are going to write me lyrics, not only will I want you to hack my brain, but I also want your heart and soul as well. Like that poem you wrote. You were about to kiss me. Because you thought I was sad. You thought I was thirsty. You thought I was going mad. But there was no sign. I made no confession. I was fine. You took me to a place. Where your lips lure mine. Where your tongue turns the water. In my lips into wine. We were kissing, binding spell. Where stars shine above cloud 9. Wait. I had it in my cell phone. Emma clicks a button on her cell phone. Emma, we made love and transcended to a place. Where fever burns before pride. Where passion splits ocean and tide. You and I were one, floating like a butterfly. Lips to lips, bleeding deep in our souls. Heart for an heart, as if we were saying. Vengeance is mine, sweeter than eye for an eye. Kissing behind closed eyelids without a lie. We were infinity, is it time to say goodbye? Where am I? It's one of my favorite poems ever. We can turn it to music. Chris, I don't know anything about music. That is a poem. Emma, music is a poem. Just listen to this. Singing, you were about to kiss me. Cause you thought I was sad. You thought I was thirsty. You thought I was going mad. But there was no sign. I made no confession. I was just fine. You took me to a place. Where your lips lure mine. Where your tongue turns the water. In my lips into wine. We were kissing, binding spell. Where stars shine above cloud 9. We made love and transcended to a place. Where fever burns before pride. Where passion splits ocean and tide. You and I were one, floating like a butterfly. Lips to lips, bleeding deep in our souls. Heart for an heart, as if we were saying. Vengeance is mine, sweeter than eye for an eye. Kissing behind closed eyelids without a lie. We were infinity, is it time to say goodbye? Where am I? Chris, that's not bad. Emma, what does it remind you, the music? Chris, I don't know, it sounds a little bit between Cups by Anna Kendrick and The Fools Who Dream from Dreamland. Emma, close, but it's Stitch by Shawn Mendes. Chris, I swear I was going to say that. But you sound better than him. Emma, thanks. Let's work on the chords. Whom did you write for? Chris, I wrote it for you. Emma, what do you mean you wrote it for me? Chris, I mean it might be inspired one of the stories that I was working on, about a girl who fell in love with a man. They had the time of their life, and one day, he just disappeared from the face of the earth. Emma, where did he go? Chris, he just walked away without telling her while they were still in love. He gave her no explanation. Emma, humorously, is it quantum retrocausality? Chris smiles softly. Chris, nothing like that. They would get back together. It's a crazy love story. Emma, that is good enough. We can work on the chords. She plays Stitch by Shawn Mendes with her cell phone, listens to the chords, and pauses it. Emma, singing You Watch Me Crying. Till tears burn my face. I am trembling, falling out of grace. And I am left alone without bliss. I need your touches and sweet kisses. Chris, that sounds good. Emma, singing all of the sudden, I were lost. And waked up in the middle of the night. I can't stop thinking about you, baby. As if I swore by love at first sight. The seductive beat of my heart. I daydream about you. From dawn to past twilight. Till the sun sets without a light. I come home, run to my bed. And touch myself in the candlelight. Allow myself to vanish the depth of my heart. Envisioning your beautiful face on the sky. Whispering my feelings to your irises without being sly. While trying to decipher the mystery. That the stars hold in each of your eye. And kissing your lips inside my belly. As if I were about to die. Chords, you watch me crying. Till tears burn my face. I am trembling, falling out of grace. And I am left alone without bliss. You gave me love that I will always miss. I need your caresses and sweet kisses. Singing, I have no secret. There is nothing left unsaid. Without your touch. Without your kiss. Every breath I take. Every tear I shed. I wish I were crucified. And resurrected from the dead. Made to your wine and daily bread. If it complement. And give your soul passion. And the beautiful color of red. Chords, you watch me crying. Till tears burn my face. I am trembling, falling out of grace. And I am left alone without bliss. You gave me love that I will always miss. I need your touches and sweet kisses. Chris, you sound amazing. I will write you a beautiful music video. Emma, we might have to work on it from scratch. Music copyright in this country is pain in the ass. They will drag you to the court for a note. Chris, I am pretty much sure Pharrell Williams, or Calvin Harris will write you fabulous music. Emma, I will release an album if you write me a couple of poems. Chris, that won't be a problem. Emma clicks a button on her cell phone. Emma, check this out. It's one of your poems. I changed few things here and there. Singing. Under cloudless skies, bright moon, and sparkling stars. There is a thing called spell between reality and fantasy. They said, it leads to contentment. Little bit pain, and harmony. But it reminds me the special words you had for me. The kisses you planted deep in my soul. Each day, you put me in a trance. We promise we will always dance. The places you romanced me. The nights you made love to me in France. My heart thought you hunted, eased, pleased, and chased me. And I never forget how you cuddled, held, and embraced me. And the minute I asked, what is love? I found you under my skin, the depth of my heart. Confessing your sin to my soul in vain. Bringing me more joy and pain. I can only go high and insane. Chords, I have so much love to give you. The devil envies you. Jesus catches fever and flu. Angels wants to lose their wings. And trade their places with you. Cupid says, love is taboo. Sweats that are thicker than dew. Love will slave you. The saints tell me, love is blue. Tears that doesn't know the meaning of few. Love will break your heart. Love won't free you. But I am happy, and madly in love when I see you. In my heart, I have gone a kissing spree with you. Give me a sign, love has never felt so true. All I want for Christmas is to be with you. Singing, Eros told me love is a pain. A beautiful chemical reaction in the brain. That drives a girl insane. But I cry, I smile when I think about your eyes. My heart catches on fire knotted with barbed wire. Everything I touch, it keeps getting higher. I talk to the moon, it says it wishes I were a liar. I don't know how to hide my feelings, or protect my heart. From aches, hurts, and yearning that is more enchanting than daydream, and nightmare that's dreadful and dire. I have fired chauffeurs of my heartbeats that I had to hire. I'm flying at the speed of love in a convertible of my soul. That you knifed each of the tire. Baby, you got me in a passion lane. I am used to the pain. Am I gone insane? I speak to the stars, they tell me there is nothing like love that comes with fever, craving, and desire. I die each day without you, whom I love, adore, and admire. As if I were buried alive in a mire. Chords, I have so much love to give you. The devil envies you. Jesus catches fever and flu. Angels wants to lose their wings. And trade their places with you. Cupid says, love is taboo. Sweats that are thicker than dew. Love will slave you. The saints tell me, love is blue. Tears that doesn't know the meaning of few. Love will break your heart. Love won't free you. But I am happy, and madly in love when I see you. In my heart, I have gone a kissing spree with you. Give me a sign, love has never felt so true. All I want for Christmas is to be with you. Singing, my friends said I am losing my mind. The love bug is getting the best of me. Romance and lust that I seek and find. And spell and passion that you bind. I've composed mystery with heartbeats that you left behind. I am only offering you love one of its kind. I can't feel the beat of my heart as if you bite my aorta. And drank my entire blood like a vampire. The thought of kissing your lips is the only thing that keeps me going while my soul is set on fire. Thinking someday we'll rule the world. And establish the greatest empire. Chords, I have so much love to give you. The devil envies you. Jesus catches fever and flu. Angels wants to lose their wings. And trade their places with you. Cupid says, love is taboo. Sweats that are thicker than dew. Love will slave you. The saints tell me, love is blue. Tears that doesn't know the meaning of few. Love will break your heart. Love won't free you. But I am happy, and madly in love when I see you. In my heart, I have gone a kissing spree with you. Give me a sign, love has never felt so true. All I want for Christmas is to be with you. Chris, that sounds romantic. Emma, just write me anything. I will turn it into music. And if it comes out right, I will do a tour to get a kick out of the experience. It's a one-time thing. I am not planning to pursue music. Film is my passion, except I don't understand. You know, I don't want to sound like a workaholic. But they build a set cost millions of dollars, make one film, and then destroy it. If I were a producer, I will find another script and hire 2 directors. Instead of making just one film, they could use the set to make 2 or more films. Chris, that's a brilliant idea. I had this script that takes on a cruise boat, Die Hard, about a group of terrorists, who kidnap the president's daughter, and they are about to blow up USA to Kingdom Come with an antimatter weapon. It's up to a girl named Jane to stop the bad guys. She teams up with a thief, who boarded on the ship to steal a diamond necklace. The 2 unlikely heroes kill the terrorists and save America. Since you brought the idea of making 2 separate films in a set, I could use the actors and write another film. It's experiment. You know, put the actors in different outfits. Second story is about a girl named Amber, who is raped by a group of young aristocrats, just having fun. They throw her into the ocean. She returns in the form of water ghost and kills all of them gruesomely. That is just the introduction. Ever since, Amber has been killing people, who board on the ship, to avenge her own death. The person, who owns the boat, is a captain. His name is Jack. He doesn't tell the passengers what's happening. I am creating the story as I go. I will correct it. You know, Amber, the water ghost, is Jack's daughter. We are then introduced to Jane, the protagonist, her best friend Amanda, a bride, and her husband James, the groom. They rent the boat for a wedding and invite a handful of people, friends and close relatives. They have a beautiful wedding ceremony. Jane is a bridesmaid, has kind of a crush on James, but keeps silent when the priest says, "Speak now or forever hold your peace." Later, the water ghost begins to kill the guests one by one horrifically, entering through their eyes, noses, ears, and mouths and suffocating and smothering them. She is also capable of turning into ice, and stabs them in their necks. She enters in their drinks, pierces their stomachs from inside and exits out of their guts like an alien. She can also transform into boiling water and cook them alive dreadfully. She is mean, uses various methods to kill the passengers. In the end, Jane stops the water ghost. She traps her in a mental water bottle and puts some kind of chemical solution to keep her in check, or mixes it with holy water and sets her spirit free. I will think something fascinating. Emma, that sounds interesting. Chris, I might work on it under the title of H2O when I get free time. Emma, it is weird you brought rape. I watched Elle starring Isabel Huppert. About a girl who is raped repeatedly by a masked man. Later, she finds out it's her neighbor whom she has a crush on. Did you see it? He nods his head yes. Emma, I won't lie to you. It kind of turned me on. Maybe it's new. I like how Isabel played the role. She completely gave herself to the character with zero self-conscious despite the fact the nature of the subject. Chris, humorously I have no comment. Emma, what do you mean no comment? Chris, it's confusing. You know, they are French. They could get away with anything. Emma, I thought you were French too. You can get away with anything. Chris, I can never hit a woman even if she begs me. Emma, don't be a hypocrite. You wrote Curve. Pussycat and Wesley almost kill each other, shooting, stabbing with knives, and all, before they have bloody sex. Chris, that is different. Emma, what do you think the remake of Elmi in the lead role as Michelle? Chris, you can't be serious. Emma, why is that? Chris, you are Americans' dreamboat. Emma, whatever. Chris, Americans are not ready for those kinds of things. You don't want hundreds of people standing outside your house with candles. They take rape seriously like heart disease. Emma, just write it down. I will direct and produce it myself. I swear I was jealous of Isabel's performance. I was blown away, how she plays Michelle in ease and confidence, and got possessed by the character without a trepidation. Chris, you gave the best performance of the year. Emma, I know. But I don't mind losing Oscar to her. You know, deep down in my heart, I felt I could have done it better than her. Just bring the age down to 28, keep the theme, change few things here and there. She is a single mother, has a 6-year-old son, works at advertisement agency in New York City as a creative director. She got divorced recently, however, gave her ex full custody of the child. Maybe it's her fault. Her husband caught her having sex with a coworker at the house, or something, you know, opposed to, he hit her in the original movie, and she left him. Nonetheless, she thinks her son is better off with his father. They are still good friends. She visits her son occasionally. He spent the weekends with her. Above everything, Michelle is very busy, doesn't even have time for lunch. And instead of her father, who was convicted for the killings of innocent folks, you might want to make it her brother. That part doesn't matter. Anyhow, Michelle is attracted to her neighbor without the knowledge he is fucked up in the head. She invites him to her house for dinner and seduces him. But he resists her advancement kindly due to sexual problem that he has, which she will eventually find out. At the same time, she has to come up with a couple of interesting ideas for advertisements at work. They are depending on her. She is creative, takes care of the ads as if it were a diary that she used to write whenever things went well. Michelle then discovers it's her neighbor Patrick, who has been raping her. In the movie, she stabs him with a scissor and removes his mask. You can change it if you want to. You might want to make it suspense. She does a detective work, sneaks into his house and finds her underwear. Or just leave it the way it's. However, she forgives him. They involve an erotic but insalubrious sexual relationship characterized by S&M, BDSM, and rape. In the end, her sister Sarah kills Patrick by accident, thinking he was raping her. The movie is really not about rape. It's about foreplay. Chris, I have no problem with that. But the guy, who played Patrick, the neighbor, looks like Armie Hammer, doesn't he? Emma, they are twins. Chris, maybe, he can play Patrick. Nobody would suspect he is going to rape you till you stab him with a scissor and remove his mask. Emma, he is cute. But I was thinking Theo James for the role of Patrick. Chris, really? Emma, what is it? Chris, nothing. He looks like a serial killer. Emma, no, he doesn't. Chris, it is a joke. Emma, just write the first draft, and we will take it from there. You know, I want to change my good girl image and create a tough girl look for myself like Rooney Mara, but still vulnerable to heartaches, pain, and all kinds of emotional agonies. Chris, I like Pussycat in Curve. She is sin. But do you think guys find tough girls attractive in general? Emma, humorously they would rather see me eating hot dogs in SNL than kicking ass in action movies, or cutting bad guys into pieces in Kill Bill 3. Maybe that is not true. But I want to keep surprising them. Chris, I am surprised by your versatility. You can switch from good girl to bad girl at will. But still if I see Rooney Mara walking on the same street that I am walking, let's say it's New York City, I will take a taxi and come to Los Angeles without stopping, stay away from her as far as I can, figuratively speaking. But I'm told she is hardcore, doesn't take nonsense from anyone. At the same time, she is down to earth. You know, she might give you that tough girl attitude, but inside, she is lost like Michelle in Elle. Emma, what are you suggesting? Chris, nothing. Emma, are you saying Rooney Mara could play Michelle better than me? Chris, I didn't say that. Emma, you don't have to say it loud. It's crystal clear. Chris, okay. I am guilty. I saw Rooney Mara in the role of Michelle as soon as you mentioned her name. She is capable of playing complex characters that are tough outside but also susceptible to emotional wounds, you know, hard-hitting females, who are victims, but whatever it is, doesn't slow them down a bit, instead make them stronger than ever like Lisbeth Slander in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Emma, I can be that girl. I will prove you wrong. Chris, sure. But I was thinking about writing you a couple of lyrics, and maybe add dimensions to your acting chops. Emma, I am not Taylor Swift. Acting comes first. Chris, you don't have to go out and sing them in front of millions. You know, maybe in Disney movies. When I listened to you singing in Dreamland, I thought about writing you a futuristic animation where you can sing freely. A story about a group of astronauts led by Amelia, 28, who are sent to space to find human next home. They travel at speed of light, go to numerous worlds teleporting like Star Trek, and encounter all kinds of aliens. They dance and sing with various creatures. Amelia then meets a man named John, who was sent to find human next home with a group of astronauts previously, but they came to a dangerous planet. The inhabitants killed all of them the exception of John. The Queen put him in a prison. They thought he was lost in space. Amelia rescues him. They fall in love, sing, dance, make love, and get in all kinds of adventures. Dark forces and mean creatures confront them. They surmount their foes and find human next home. Emma, I like the idea of me making love to animation. But did you come up with the story just now to impress me? Chris, something like that. But I don't want to hide you behind cartoon. I have this musical for you under the title of La Vie en Rouge based on The Killers starring Ava Gardner and Burt Lancaster, but set in 2 universes. It's about a Broadway star named Rachel, who is asked to film musical in Hollywood. She finds herself in 2 worlds, making a movie, trying to sort things out and put her life in perspective in the first dimension, and singing, dancing and falling in love in the latter. Emma, I read it on your website. It's one of the sexiest stories by far. I can't wait to do it. Chris, we might want to borrow some of the dancers from Dreamland if they don't mind. Emma, they would love to do it. Chris, but it is different from Dreamland. It has a negative message, about a femme fatale, who is supposed to seduce a fighter to rob banks, and then double-crosses him. I doubt if the film is going to win Oscar if it comes down to preaching moral lesson. However, your performance might get you an Oscar in case you come out empty-handed this year, or add another golden statuette to your collection. Emma, I don't really care about Oscar. You know, it's been building up. I just want to win it one for my mother and thank her for believing in me. Chris, humorously that is so sweet. Emma, are you making fun of me? Chris, no, I am not. You are the most talented actress in Hollywood. You are going to win a lot of awards. Just don't let anything get in your way. Emma, convince me why I should do musical back-to-back. Chris, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I created the story by accident in one sitting. You know, I heard that you did Cabaret. Chicago is one of my favorite movies of all time. It won Academy Award. But I felt I could make a better musical. The story created itself in the subconscious mind without my knowledge. You know, unlike Dreamland, which is set in the modern day, yet borrows few themes from 50s musical movies like Singing in the Rain and An American in Paris, and focuses on jazz, La Vie en Rouge is erotic and unapologetic like Madonna and Miley Cyrus, energetic and fetish like Lady Gaga and Katy Perry. There is dirty dancing. We see explosive dance moves like step-up movies and Michael Jackson music videos. The songs are pop, hip-hop, blues, and rock and rolls. There is jazz as well. The dances are groundbreaking. It feels like music film of the century. You know, it's set in 2 universes. You have to go back and forward without your will. By the time you finish filming, you will feel neither your heartbeat nor the muscles of your body. Emma, it's tempting. Chris, it's up to you. I am not really a big fan of musical. But since you love dancing, I might as well write something seductive that allows you to curb your enthusiasm. Rachel is corrupted. You don't really have to talk about her. You just tell them she is a femme fatale. Emma, I like the title La Vie en Rouge. What does it mean? Chris, I got it from La Vie en Rose, life in pink, or life in rosy hues. Thus, La Vie en Rouge could mean life in red, or passion for love, kisses, and life. Emma, that would do it. I will make it my top priority. I'll quadruple Madonna's body of work. Chris, she has nothing on you. Emma, maybe. But I am a little bit disappointed by Dreamland. Chris, why is that? Emma, Mia and Sebastian don't end up together. Chris, perhaps, he was thinking about part 2. Emma, I doubt it. I was going to suggest a romantic ending. They went hell together, and dreamed like as if they were told waking up is taboo. They fell in love and kissed till their hearts bleed blue. Chris, that rhymes like true. Emma, I learned few tricks from you. Chris, I can see that. Emma, as least, they should be together. You know, how Sebastian dreams it toward the end of the film while playing piano, edit the entire new husband scene, and replace it with the fantasy. They could have gotten away with it. But something held me back. It is Hollywood. Women are not allowed to express their feeling, not always. There are times in the past, making a movie, when I've been told that I'm hindering the process by bringing up an opinion or an idea. So, I just kept quiet. Chris, I am sure. He would have changed it if you had said something. Emma, how would you have changed it if you were the one who wrote it? Chris, I don't know. Sebastian would have written for you the best screenplay ever that captures your matchless beauty, raw sensuality and the passion you have for acting, singing and dancing, and film it himself. So, you don't have to audition or move anywhere. The film ends with Mia and Sebastian kissing while lying on the sand and the wave crashing on their bodies like Deborah Kerr and Burt Lancaster in From Here to Eternity. Emma, that is a sweet of you. But Sebastian is a jazz player. He doesn't know anything about screenplay. Chris, it's not hard to write a screenplay, putting words together. It always comes down to how bad you want it. Emma, humorously, how bad do you want it? Chris, I am a writer. It's not how bad I want it, or don't. It's what I can do that scares me. Emma, what can you do? Chris, humorously, the stars are the limit. Emma, anyway, I will look at La Vie en Rouge. But I want to do erotic psychological thriller, or horror before I do anything, and destroy this ill-at-ease image I created for myself. Chris, I have 3 similar stories. I will let you pick. The first one is a story about a town called Virtuville. Amelia, 28, and Edward, 32, just moved to the neighborhood. The residents in Virtuville are extremely nice. If you slap them on their faces, they would turn their other cheeks. Amelia doesn't know what is going on. Something doesn't add up. Why are these people so kind? Then one day Amelia gets up in the middle of the night, comes to the basement subconsciously, sees a door. It is locked. There is a fog under the door. She breaks the lock with a knife, enters the room, walks through the cloud. It takes her into another dimension. It's a place where you would fulfill your deepest fantasy if you do well. But if you do bad or break any of the 10 commandments, there is a ghost. It would enter your body, sit in your belly, and cause you great deals of pain till blood leaves from your eyes, nose, and ears, and kill you gruesomely. Every house in the Virtuville has the door. People are addicted to vices. It explains why they are so nice. Yet it's not out of fear. It's out of pleasure. If they do bad, they can't return to Desire World. You know, suppose a man hit your friend, you have no choice but to stand and watch. And when it gets dark, just get up in the middle of the night, open the door, go to the Desire World, and do whatever pleases you. Emma, what kind of desire are you talking about? Chris, anything, S&M, BDSM, various erotic fantasies, drugs, whatever it's. If you love alcohols, it would take you to Alcohol World and let you quench your thirst. If you love drugs, it takes you Drugs World and let you have out-of-body experience. If you love to travel, it would take you to space and let you float in zero gravity, singing, dancing, etc. If you love sex, it would take you to erotic worlds and allow you to have some of the best sexual intimacies of your life. It is designed to fulfill your fantasy accordingly. There is no rule. People walk naked in the street and go to various sex clubs like the music video that you did, Somebody Is Watching Me, and get in all kinds of erotic adventure. I will invent something new, never seen before in films, like they rub sex cream on your vagina that burns your clitoris like Vicks Vapor Rub, yet give you intense orgasm. That is a joke, don't try that at home. But I will think something original if it gets green light. However, if you do bad and enter through the door, everything turns into nightmare. You see girls get raped brutally by demons. They cut them into pieces. Most of victims are your copies. You feel their pain. Vicious wolves ripping off their bodies and eating their organs. Crows, vultures, and scavengers eating corpses. Poison snakes crawling everywhere. That's just to cause you emotional pain. The demons then attack, torture, crucify you on the cross and burn you alive. The first time, Amelia goes through the door, she sees a man named David, who is making love to a beautiful girl at a sex club in the Desire World. She is attracted to him, turned on beyond her wildest sexual fantasy but does nothing. She only stimulates her clitoris, reaches sexual climax, returns to the real world, and acts innocent. Later, Amelia comes to the Desire World and involves with David in passionate S&M sex even though she is happily married to Edward. She can't get enough of David for some unknown reason. However, she feels guilty, still loves Edward more than life itself, doesn't want to break his heart, stops going to Desire World, and tries to fix her marriage. Yet, she can't stop thinking about David. He is deep in her heart, has taken control of her soul. She can taste his lips, can hear his voice in her head. When she closes her eyes even for a second, she sees him making love to her, and finds touching herself, fantasying about him as if he were with her. Later, Amelia runs into David at a supermarket in the real world. He easily seduces her. They have sex on the hood of her car at a sightseeing. Now, Amelia knows she can never go through that door. She broke one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not commit adultery. If she goes to the desire world, she is dead. They can only carry on the affair in the real world. They meet again at a romantic resort and make love. After sex, they sit in the bathtub. Amelia is in love with David. She is willing to leave Edward and run away with David, tells him she can't live without him. David says he can't wait to spend the rest of his life with her. They have sex the whole night. Amelia returns to Edward in the morning, but couldn't bring herself into telling him the truth, doesn't want to hurt his feeling. She just wants to run away with David without telling her husband. She packs her bags and leaves the house. Meanwhile, David disappears from the face of the earth. Amelia looks for him everywhere and couldn't find him. She returns home. Edward welcomes her back. Amelia missed David a lot, decides to go to Desire World, and look for him. But she experiences all kind of nightmare, people turning into demons and raping her copies, stabbing her replicas with knives and tearing them apart to scare her and cause her soul emotional pain. There are lightning and thunderstorm. It begins to rain. The demons then rape her. She is naked and wet. They hit her, bite her breasts, and drink her blood. Amelia suffers great deal of pains, running away from evil spirits, throwing up little snakes, frogs, and insects covered with blood. The demons put her in mud, continue to suck her blood through her neck, breasts, and vagina till she reaches cruel orgasm. Amelia then finds out David is the devil himself. He tricked her into committing sin. When he is about to kill her, Edward saves her life, tells the devil, he was still married to a girl named Jasmine when he wed Amelia, which makes the marriage invalid. Since she is not legally married, she didn't break any rule. The devil lets her go, but kills Edward for falsifying the marriage. Amelia returns to real world, locks the door, and leaves the town. The end. Emma, I like cruel orgasm. But it's weird that you brought Vicks VapoRub. I tried it in high school while I was going through sexual maturity. Chris, you are lying. Emma, I think every girl going through puberty has tried it one point of their lives. It's natural. Chris, I didn't know that. Emma, anyway, what is number 2? Chris, 666. Elizabeth is a young psychiatrist, moves to her uncle house 666 in the heart of New York City. She doesn't believe in the devil. As far as she is concerned, 666 is nothing but a number that comes after 665. It's a big house, looks like Buckingham Palace. Her uncle didn't have any child. She was the only person that he knew. Elizabeth didn't even know he existed till a real estate agent came to her house and made her sign on papers, saying the mansion belongs to her. Elizabeth's uncle passed it to her in his will before he died. Elizabeth thinks she can do her therapy at her house. However, she doesn't want to intimidate her client, doubts nobody would come to 666 and expect to be treated from psychological problems. She is new to the game, but a quick thinker. Why not give it a shot? It's 21st century. The number might even draw their attention. She will explain to them if things get out of control, it's just number. Elizabeth thinks she has nothing to lose. Above everything, she doesn't want to sell the house just because of the number. It's a dream house. Elizabeth makes a call, contacts her friend Amy, who works at an advertisement agency, tells her to print her business cards and gives her phone number and the house address, 666. Amy is freak, tells her she loves the number, orders hundreds of business cards and distributes it throughout New York City. Elizabeth believes she can help them. She would sit in a sofa and analysis their psyches. It's created by Sigmund Freud, might be one of the most effective psychological therapies, and deals with free association, dream interpretation and analysis of repressed desires and craving, unconscious urge and impulse, apprehensions and anxieties, and internal conflicts in order to free psychic energy and heal the mind. The phone begins to ring without stopping. Client number 1 is a model. Her name is Sophia. She is an attractive girl, 25, tells her she doesn't believe in the devil, but looks at the photo of Elizabeth on the card, thought she was pretty, and came to check it out. Sophia begins to tell her what is bothering her. Elizabeth takes a note. Sophia says she is thinking about pursuing singing career but she has suffered from stage fright. Emma, that is a little close to home. Chris, I am kind of creating the story as I go. You know, I am trying to avoid from going to extra dimensions. The house is huge. It's one of the biggest palaces in New York City. She was supposed to find a big painting with satanic pentacle at the basement that takes her to an extra dimension, desire worlds, or rather erotic worlds to make separation from Virtueville, and involved in all kinds of eroticism and sexual adventure. That is why I said 3 similar stories. However, unlike the first story, there is no rule. It doesn't matter if you broke the 10 commandments, or run a red light. Nobody is judging you. The painting, satanic pentacle, is part of the wall, some kind of quantum gate. It can't be removed. However, there is a time limit, 6 hours. You can't stay in erotic world forever. It will spit you out. Elizabeth goes through the painting freely, and witnesses all kinds of erotic acts. She then meets a man named Robert and they involve in a passionate erotic S&M relationship. Yet, Elizabeth doesn't know what he is. She is addicted to him. First, she keeps it secret from everybody, then lets her clients to go through the painting, fulfill their erotic fantasies, and allows them to get well. However, like they say there is trouble in paradise, those, who enters erotic world 6 times, die mysteriously, big devil stars form on their chest with fire deep in the skin. The spirit turns their eyes black and stops their hearts and dark smoke leave their mouths. To our surprise, Robert is assigned to investigate the murder. He is a detective in the real world. He doesn't know how their eyes turn into black. There is no scientific explanation. He then finds out all the victims have one thing in common. They are Elizabeth's clients. Hitherto, Robert lost his wife Jessica to a serial killer named Lance. He hunted for him day and night, finds his nemesis at a motel, shot and killed the psychopath. Robert comes to questions Elizabeth at 666. She thinks about asking him if Robert is pretending he doesn't know her, but quickly realizes erotic world is a different universe. And if she tells him the truth, she might lose the house, even go to prison. She tells him she doesn't know anything. But simultaneously, she is attracted to him. Davis is into her as well, gives her his card, and tells her to give him a call if she has anything to tell him. Elizabeth gives him her card too. If he needs psychological evaluation, she will analyze his mind free of charge. Later, Elizabeth comes to a library and finds a book 666. Any person, who goes to erotic world 6 times, dies. However, the individual, who owns the house, can go as many times as they please. Later, Robert comes to her house to ask her out. She agrees to go out with him. They come to a romantic restaurant. They talk about romance. Robert doesn't want to discuss about the murder case yet, just makes sure she has a good time. They go to club and dance. They take a walk in a bridge conversing, things that they are passionate about. One thing leads to another. They kiss and make love at his apartment. She spends the night with him and returns to her house in the morning. Later, Robert comes to her house to have his free psychological evaluation, but tricks her into telling him about the victims. She chooses to tell him the truth. They come to the basement and shows him the painting, Pentacle. They walk through the painting and come to erotic world. He observes all kinds of erotic madness, people having sex right and left, everywhere. Elizabeth seduces him into erotic sex. They have sex on the top of hundreds beautiful naked lesbian women, or rather in the middle of numerous naked female lovers. It could be his fantasy that they enter like Inception. There is no explanation. I will mix it up during filming. Let's just go with the flow and see where it leads. They involve an erotic relationship in both real and desire world. Elizabeth tells him he can only go 5 times in erotic world. If he goes to 6 times, he will die. Robert then sees his deceased wife Jessica at erotic world, having sex with Lance, the serial killer, who killed her in erotic world. Robert approaches him to confront him. But time is up. Erotic world spits him out to real world. Robert tells Elizabeth he must return to erotic world and save his wife. But Elizabeth warns him he could die. It's suicide. Robert returns to erotic world anyway. Elizabeth goes with him. Robert kills Lance and brings Jessica to the real world. But Jessica turns into ghost and vanishes. Robert has only 24 hours to live. He must do something, come up with a solution. Elizabeth is in love with Robert. She tells him they must burn the house. They put gas throughout the house and burns the house to ashes. She moves to Robert's house. They cook, eat, dance slow, kiss and make love. However, when they reach orgasm, the satanic pentacles form on the chest, their eyes goes black. Their hearts stop, dark smokes leave their mouth, and they die on the bed. The end. Emma, it's a good story but sad. I don't like the ending. Chris, I will make it happy conclusion. I just put the pieces together as I went. I might work on it. Emma, what is third? Chris, 666. Veronica is a young writer, 28, usually writes about serial killer mixed with supernatural elements. But it's fiction. She moves to Los Angeles at 666, chose to the house for the sole purpose of her novel in order to get deep into her characters. She is working on a serial killer, who kills people and brand them with number 666. The police think a serial killer is committing the murders. He is at large. On the other hand, Melissa, the protagonist in Veronica's story, believe it's an evil spirit. It has been murdering innocent people for centuries, the serial killer is copying the evil spirit. He is nothing but a lunatic. The real killer is Satan. It's titled 666. Upon published, the book becomes the best-selling novels of all time. Later, life imitating art. A woman is found murdered just like Veronica described it in her book, naked and branded with number 666 on her chest. LAPD forensics collect evidence. Agent Jonathan of FBI is assigned to investigate the case. He comes to Veronica's house to question her. She thinks someone read her book and carried out the murder. Later, victim number 2 is found dead. It's male. He is branded with number 666 on his chest. He's murdered just like Veronica described it in her novel 666. Jonathan returns to Veronica's house to ask her few more questions. She tells him someone is playing games. Veronica is attracted to Jonathan. He thinks she is arresting as well. He can't take his eyes off her. She invites him dinner at her house. He accepts the invitation. Veronica buys a couple of groceries and cooks all kinds of scrumptious foods. Jonathan comes to the house with a red rose and a bottle of red wine. They sit and have dinner. After dinner, they take a walk in the neighborhood talking about the murder. He tells her FBI needs her help to solve the case. She agrees to help them. They return to the house, 666, dance slow, Kiss and make love. Next, victim number 3 is found murdered at her house. She is naked, branded with number 666 on her chest. FBI forensics collect evidence. Veronica and Jonathan examine the body. I might make it horrifying. You know, the killer might remove their organs or places dragonflies in their mouths and sew their lips, or put something in their vaginas to fuck with the audience's minds. It depends on the flow. Anyhow, Jonathan thinks they have a serial killer on the loose. But Veronica thinks a supernatural force, perhaps the devil, is committing the crime. They come to University of Los Angeles to talk to a man named James, an expert, who is mastered in 666 and satanic rituals. He tells them. It is supernatural. Satan has been killing people since the dawn of time and branded them with number 666. However, they are also copycats who carried out the same crime, but most of them confessed for the killings. The accurate count of the killings that are committed by the evil spirit is 660, without counting 3 murders. It won't stop till it reaches 666. Later, victim number 4 is found in the forest naked. She is branded with number 666 on her chest. But there is something doesn't add up. It is done sloppy. Jonathan contacts his friend Jack at the cyber division to give him the number of people who visits websites that have to do with 666. Jack gives him lists of names. Veronica and Jonathan question them one by one. They then come to an old apartment to ask a man named Peter few questions. But Peter fires at them. Jonathan shoots and kills him after a wild shootout. FBI collects evidence. They find all kinds of satanic belongings at Peter's apartment, including books that deals with 666, satanic cards, human organs, and devil paintings. They close the case thinking they got the killer. Veronica and Jonathan make love at her house. Then real victim number 4 is found naked at Los Angeles Library. She is branded with number 666 on her chest just like Veronica describes it on her book. They reopen the case. Veronica and Jonathan come to the crime scene and examine the body. They don't know what they are dealing with. They question a couple of witnesses. Later, victim number 5 is found at his office. He is branded with number 666 on his chest. Victim 6 is found at a church surrounded by candles. She is naked, branded with the number 666 on her chest. The forensics collect evidence. Jonathan examines the body. He seems disturbed, tells Veronica they should take time off till he finds the killer. Veronica leaves the cathedral disappointed, comes to a bar, has a glass of whiskey, returns to the church, and questions a priest named Robert. He tells her the devil takes humans' mind. First, it writes the novel, the author thinks they wrote the book from their genius minds, then the devil takes their bodies and spirits commit the crimes without their knowledge. It's Veronica, who had been killing all of them, and branded the victims with the number 666. In flashback, we see all the killings. Veronica is possessed by the devil. She has amazing strength, kills and brands them with amazing efficiency. We return to the church from flashback. Veronica is shocked. She can't believe it. The priest tells her he can help her exorcise the devil out of her spirit. Yet, she stabs him in the stomach with a knife subconsciously. She doesn't know how the knife finds itself on her hand. She drops the knife and leaves the church. She comes to her house, fill the bathtub with cold water, prays, or rather performs Christian self-exorcism, places a cross in the tub, removes her clothes, and lies in the tub nude. The water boils in a heartbeat. An extra dimension opens at the bottom of the tub and drops Veronica in hell naked. She has to confront the devil, puts on a leather outfit, grabs a gun that never runs out of bullets, kills hundreds of demons, and buries 666 bullets in the devil's heart. That is a joke. She is still naked, but has a necklace, cross with Jesus Christ. Nobody ever come to hell with a cross. She glows like a saint. The demons stand back with fear. She goes straight to the devil, who is sitting in his throne, and asks him to leave her alone. Or she will cause him the greatest pain he has ever experienced in his eternal life. She just uses her mind and gives him a small dosage of pain. The devil begins to bleed from his eyes, nose, and ears, and holds his head in great pain. Pain, in the scale of 1 to 10, hell is 6. She puts him in 10. In the meantime, 6 demons leave from Amelia's bodies. Her body glows like the sun and disappear. Amelia comes out of the thin air and falls on the sand, next to Pacific Ocean, naked. She is unconscious. A big wave crashes on her body. That wakes her up. She gets up lost and walks down the shore. She then sees Jonathan sitting on the sand and looking at the ocean. Veronica approaches him. He looks, turns his eyes and continues to watch the ocean. She sits next to him. They are silent. It seems Jonathan knows she is the killer. When she is about to tell him the truth, he tells her she doesn't have to explain anything. They kiss intimately. The end. Emma, I will go with the last one. The best by far. Chris, I will work on it. But I might have a serious movie for you in the back of my mind. The exchange soft kiss. Emma, what is it? Chris, Sweet Justice, a story about a FBI agent named Etta who hunts for a contract killer named Jeremiah. He is not a typical contract killer. A detective named Richard hires him. They are brothers. Richard seems a reasonable man. He investigates the case first and if he thinks they are guilty, he hires Jeremiah, his brother, to take them out. They carry out justice themselves. When they were kid, 3 burglars broke into their house, killed their father, raped their mother, and stole money and jewelries. They even took their mother's wedding ring. Later, their mother committed suicide due to the trauma that she suffered. The thieves got caught, but the police released them as if nothing happened. They were police informants. The records didn't exist. The boys sworn to seek revenge themselves. Richard became a police officer. Jeremiah becomes an architecture and part-time hitman. He doesn't kill for money. He only kills to avenge the death of loved ones. Later, they got their revenge. Richard dug their profiles and gave the information to his brother. Jeremiah killed all three of them, one by one. They continue to kill those who think they can escape justice. Richard investigates the cases and gives the names to his brother. Jeremiah takes them out. However, the law doesn't permit anyone to seek justice on their own hands. Criminals must be tried by court of law, and if they are found guilty, they will be punished accordingly. Seeking justice in one's own hand is a crime. It is against the law. That is when Etta comes to the picture. FBI assigns her to investigate the case. The bureau thinks it's inside job, LAPD. They suspect Richard has something to do with it. Most of his cases, the suspects never see trials. They are found dead, possibly killed by Jeremiah. FBI officials want her to go undercover, get close to Richard, and find out who is responsible for the killings. The chief pairs her with Richard. It was instant attraction. They are assigned to investigate a murder case of a woman committed by a serial killer named Tim. He kills women, strips their clothes, and writes biblical verses on their bodies that indicate the end of the world is near, asking people to repent their sins. He is a psychopath. Etta can sense that Richard is upset. He is going to kill Tim himself. However, Richard quickly collects his composure and plays it cool as if he had seen it all, even though he looks like he had gone through hell and back. He gives her a charismatic smile. Etta is attracted to him. He likes her as well. But he doesn't know she is undercover. FBI wants her to bring him down by any means necessary. They want incriminating evidence. Above everything, they want Richard to lead them to Jeremiah. They don't know what he looks like. They labeled him Hitman. He usually puts 2 bullets inside their chests and a bullet in their forehead like Vincent played by Tom Cruise in Collateral. But he adds one in their throat, and if it is absolutely necessary, suppose they are in police custody, he would take them out with a sniper. However, Tim continues to murder people, strips their clothes, and write gospels from the Bible that indicate the kingdom of God is coming. It's a major news around the world. Etta and Richard are in charge of the investigation. They are doing everything in their power to bring him to justice. At least, Etta thinks she will find him and arrest him. He will face justice according to the law. She was supposed to expose Richard and catch Jeremiah. But she finds herself looking for a serial killer who think he is God. In order to curb her enthusiasm, she involves in a passionate sexual relationship with Richard. They have some of the best sex in the history of cinema while investigating the case. They start dating. Richard introduces her to his brother, Jeremiah. She thinks he is a respectful architect. In the meantime, Jeremiah doesn't suspect she is out there to get him. He has a beautiful wife, Cassandra. She invites them to dinner. They all sit and talk about the serial killer. Richard thinks Voice doesn't deserve to breathe the same air with the innocent, and if he catches him, he will bury 10 bullets in his skull and spend the rest of his life in hell. On the other hand, Jeremiah plays it cool. He is very smart, doesn't trust anybody. He says they should be trialed. The law has responsibility to hand justice fairly. Richard says the law doesn't know anything about justice. They will let them walk away with not guilty by reason of insanity. Etta tells them even though he is a serial killer, he should face justice in court of law. It is the American way. He could be a mental ill. She is against taking justice one's own hand. The law should handle it. But Richard swears if he catches him, he would bury 2 bullets in his eyes and curve Justice's blind on his chest. Etta is recording him with her cell phone without his knowledge. She has gathered enough evidence that put Richard away for a while. Nonetheless, the killer continues to kill and write biblical scriptures. He has killed 6 so far. Etta puts all the verses in the computer and looks for a pattern. She finds a pattern. The serial killer murdered people based on the 9 deadly sins of old Jewish Bible: pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, drunkenness, and suicide. Since suicide is a sin that can't be forgiven, you are volunteering to go to hell. It got dropped. It doesn't make a difference if it's on the list or not. On the other hand, many saints drink wines in order to get close to Jesus Christ. Sometimes, it leads the mind to lose grasp of reality. Through time, it got dropped as well. It's still a sin even though Noah was drunk and got commemorated by Michelangelo at Sistine Chapel in Vatican City. But that is a different story. Now Etta knows what kind of person she is dealing with. She contacts her friend Vanessa and asks her names of people who checks the deadly sins of the old Jewish Bible in the web. In the meantime, Richard does his own investigation, puts the pieces together, figure out the killer kills based on the 9 deadly sins, contacts a hacker named Orange. They call him Orange, because he likes orange soda. Richard tells him to give names who visits website that visits the 9 deadly sins. A name appears on the screen. It says Timothy. Simultaneously, the FBI headquarters, Etta looks at the file that Vanessa gave her. She can't believe it. Timothy is her aunt's son. They grow up together. He is like her brother. She rushes to Timothy's apartment, parks her car in front of the building, breaks the door with her foot, enters the room drawing her gun. Timothy points the gun at her. Etta tells him to drop it kindly. Timothy says a voice in his head tells him to do it. He is deeply sorry, needs help, or he will shoot his own brain. He has already killed victims 7 and 8. He is last, the 9th deadly sin, taking one's own life. His soul is destined for hell. Etta says, don't do anything stupid, promises him he will get treatment, asks him to drop his gun. He drops his gun and surrender. She escorts him to her car. Jeremiah, across the building, shoots Timothy in the eyes with a sniper before he gets in Etta's car. Timothy dies at the spot. Jeremiah puts his gun in a bag and walks away. Etta has seen him. She goes after him, enters the hotel and begins to look for him. Jeremiah looks a different person, has a fake mustache, blonde wig, and eyeglasses. He gets rid of his gun in a trash disposal, places explosive device on the gas room, gets in the elevator, comes to the lobby, and clicks a button on his watch. The explosive device detonates with a violent noise. There is commotion. People begin to exit the hotel in disarray. Jeremiah walks by Etta. She doesn't notice him, but turns at last minute and looks at his fingers. He is wearing his wedding ring. In flashback, Etta remembers seeing his wedding ring that day at the dinner. She quickly points her gun at him and tells him to freeze. But Jeremiah takes out his gun and sets to fire at her. She quickly shoots him in the shoulder twice. Jeremiah hits the floor. He is not dead. Etta kicks Jeremiah's gun away and points the gun at his face and tells him he is under arrest. Minutes later, the FBI arrives and arrests Jeremiah. The paramedics takes him away in federal ambulance. Etta and FBI then come to LAPD to arrest Richard at the station. Etta asks Special Agent Robert, who oversees the investigation, to give her time. She will arrest him herself personally. Richard empties out all the bullets from his gun, and takes a bullet, places it in a chamber and rolls it. Etta points her gun at him, but says nothing. Richard is pointing his gun at her as well. He turns the gun on his brain, tells her he is not going to jail. He will end his life. She tells him feds have nothing on him. They just want to ask him few questions. She burned all the evidences. He will give himself 3 chances. He pulls the trigger. There is nothing. He pulls again quickly. There is nothing. When he is about to pulls the 3rd, Etta shoots him between him and the wrist. The bullet pierces through his wrist and comes out the other end. Richard drops his gun. The gun falls on the floor and fires itself. There was a bullet in the chamber. He could have killed himself. Richard holds his wrist. Etta reads him his right. FBI and police officials point their guns at him. Richard gives up and surrenders in ease. Etta drops her gun, asks for first aid. The police officers give her first aid. She applies it on Richard's wrist. They kiss passionately while everybody is watching them. It fades to black. 3 years later. We are outside a prison. Richard is a free man. Etta is waiting for him, standing next to her convertible. He walks up to her. She approaches him. He drops his bag. They kiss French spellbindingly for long second. Etta bends her left leg at the knee with style as they continue to kiss intimately. The end. Emma, that is the best. Chris, it's a little bit inspired by Seven starring Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Gwyneth Paltrow. I had to borrow few ideas from the film to put a finishing touch on the story. Emma, I will take that one. Chris, it's yours. I built dialogues around it when I have free time. Emma, talking about Seven, it reminds me Brad Pitt in the 90s. I had a crush on him, I think I still do. He starred in a couple of good films, Legend of the Fall, Seven, Fight Club, An Interview with Vampire, and had a supporting role in 12 Monkeys. Chris, he made a couple of remarkable movies, but Kevin Spacey might have beaten him. He was in 4 of the top 15 movies in the 90s: American Beauty, The Usual Suspects, LA Confidential and Seven. Emma, what is the other 11? Chris, Pulp Fiction, The Matrix, Shawshank Redemptions, Forrest Gump, Fight Club, Goodfellas, The Silence of the Lambs, Braveheart, Terminator 2, The Sixth Sense, and Leon, The Professional. Emma, what about Titanic? Chris, it was a good movie. Leo and Kate held their grounds. Maybe it's only the ship that sunk in some people's minds. You know, Leo swam under the water and turned into a shark. He went out to do The Departed, Blood Diamond, The Wolf of Wall Street, and a couple of good films. Kate starred in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and has been nominated 6 times for Academy Award. Emma, I place Titanic #1 movie of the 90s. Chris, it's cinema. Everybody is entitled of their opinion. None is wrong. 90s were the golden era of cinema. There are too many to count and none to leave out. True Romance, The Big Lebowski, The Fifth Element, Speed, and Mission Impossible to name few. Emma, how about Basic Instincts, Boogie Nights, Ghost, Eyes Wide Shut, The English Patient, Pretty Woman, Shakespeare in Love, and Showgirls? Chris smiles in wonder. Emma, I am fucking with you about Showgirls. But I like Clueless, Romeo and Juliet, While You Were Sleeping, starring Sandra Bullock, and every movie Tom Hanks made, including You Got Mail, the exception of Saving Private Ryan. I hate war movies. Chris, there are a couple of classic 90s movies that might have defined the era: Reservoir Dogs, The Game, Kids, Beautiful Girls, A Few Good Men, Good Will Hunting, The Fugitive, Before Sunset, French Kiss, Boys in the Hood, Miller's Crossing, Heat, Trainspotting, Primary Fear, Being John Malkovich. I can keep going on. Yet since you love Steve Martin, I might as well add Father of the Bride, Mixed Nuts, and Spanish Prisoner to keep things in perspective. Emma, you are bringing a lot of memories. I remember watching Home Alone, Groundhog Day, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and Renee Zellweger and Jerry Maguire as if it were yesterday. I can name a couple of good films myself: Fargo, As Good as It Gets, Grosse Point Blank, Dazed and Confused, Toy Story, Edward Scissorhands, Cruel Intentions, The Truman Show, The Lion King, Rushmore, Sense and Sensibility, Jurassic Park, 10 Things I Hate About You, Scream, Manhattan Murder Mystery, American Pie, and Dumb and Dumber. Chris, Dumb and Dumber was funny. But I like The Mask. I thought Cameron Diaz was one of the most beautiful girls I had ever seen in my life. There is Something About Mary is one of my favorite movies of all times. Emma, she has a supporting role in My Best Friend Wedding starring Julia Roberts. It is one of my favorite movies of the 90s. Notting Hill starring Julia Roberts is classic too. But I like Robin Hood and the Princess of Thief. I was kid when it came out. However, I couldn't get the soundtrack Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams out of my mind. It is the greatest love song ever. Chris, I couldn't agree more. But I love Kiss from a Rose by Seal, Batman Forever soundtrack. I was addicted to it. Emma, it's better than the movie. Chris, I don't know, some might agree with you. Some might disagree. But Nicole Kidman looks to die for. Emma, what is your favorite movie of 90s, number 1? Chris, I don't have one favorite film, but Pulp Fiction changed how I look at films forever. Emma, that is classic. Chris, you kinds of reminds me of Mia, played by Uma Thurman. Emma smiles in beauty. Emma, I might change my hair to black. Chris smiles softly. Chris, what about you, what is your favorite film of 90s? Emma, Forrest Gump. I must have watched it 50 times. Chris, it's a very good movie. Emma, anyway, what do you think Dreamland in general? Chris, it's okay. Emma, it's not your cup of tea? Chris, I loved it. I couldn't take my eyes off you. Emma, you are lying. Chris, why is that? Emma, you don't like jazz, do you? Chris, I love jazz. It's how you use it. You know, you can always romance it in film, but it's hard to convince Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Rihanna, and Adele's fans jazz is the future. Calvin Harris and David Guetta making sick beats, jazz has to prove it's worth your undivided attention. However, you can still cement it in the public mind. I can always build story around it. Jazz is one of the themes in film Nori, like Chicago starring Renee Zellweger and Katharina Zeta-Jones. I wouldn't have wasted time. First of all, Mia sets the tone of the film. She wants it bad, aspiring, ambitious, craving of everything, and if she wants something, she will do anything to get it. Sebastian plays jazz as wicked as Miles Davis. He is a bad guy. Mia tells him a female cast director is giving her a problem. She wants Sebastian to have a word with her. Sebastian tells the cast director to give Mia the part, or he will glue broken glasses on his dick and fuck her in the ass. Then she will understand the real meaning of pain in the ass. The casting director refuses to give her the part. Sebastian kills her dog and sends her his heart. Next time, it will be her mother. The cast director has no choice but to give Mia the part. Mia becomes a star overnight. The film hasn't started yet. Mia is now the top 10 film actresses in the world. She buys Sebastian a big jazz house. They are dating. Sebastian doesn't really give a fuck about fame, he just loves playing jazz and wants to take it the next level, spends hours playing piano, perfecting every note. Above everything, he loves Mia. But she isn't into jazz. Mia has agenda, fame beyond the glory of heaven and earth and the stars in the cosmos. Then comes one of the best scripts of the century titled Erotic Kiss. It's between her, or Jennifer Lawrence. The head of the studio, the director, casting directors, they all want Jennifer in the female lead role. Mia seduces Sebastian to murder Jennifer, so she could get the part. They have S&M sex. Sebastian kills Jennifer and gets rid of her body. Studios and media think she just disappears from the face of the earth. The police suspect neither Mia nor Sebastian. Mia got the part, gives one of the best performances ever, and wins Academy Award. She is just warming up. Anytime, she faces challenge or someone gets in her way. She fucks Sebastian. They have S&M erotic sex. Sebastian then kills whoever gives her a problem. He is a force can't be reckoned with. We see Sebastian killing actresses, producers, studio executives, directors, and even actors who give Mia trouble. Meanwhile, Mia gets any part she wants: action, romance, drama, mystery, psychological thriller, horror, etc. She becomes the biggest star ever. No one in history of cinema matches her body work. She fucks actors she likes, doesn't give a fuck if they are married or have girlfriends. If she finds them attractive, she would sleep with them. She loves Sebastian. But he is lost in his music. He had become a psychopath in order to preserve jazz and keep it alive. He plays piano 24/7 till he can't feel him fingers, sweating like an athlete as if he ran marathon. When he takes a water or whiskey break, his hands shake like a mental patient. Jazz experts thinks he is a genius. Some says he is better than Louis Armstrong. Some say he is the modern day of Mozart. Some says he is a living legend. Sebastian is a tortured soul. He only cares about two things, Mia and jazz, the rest can go to hell. However, Mia is the star of the film. She is exceedingly desirous, wants it all: love, drugs, sex, and fame. She makes 4-5 movies a year, sings and dances till her heart stops, does cocaine as if they were table sugar, parties like there is no tomorrow. She doesn't hold anything. She is the center of attention. She is always on the covers of fashion magazines and tabloids. People are addicted to her. Paparazzi don't allow her to breathe, photographing her every step she takes. In the film, Mia sings and dances with him. She is on the top of the world. But still there is something missing in her life. She doesn't know what it is, thinks about having a baby. Mother instinct grabs her by the throat. But she doesn't want anything to get in her way. Mia is hooked to fame, talks to her shrink Olivia. She tells her she should listen to her body. Why do women bleed every month? However, Mia is not ready to slow down anytime soon. Instead, she takes pills that discourage any pregnancy and motherhood intuitions, goes to club, dances till her heart stops beating, buys a movie studio, Universal, and becomes one of the most powerful people in Hollywood. But that is nothing. She owns the city of Los Angeles. Nothing makes her alive more than making films. Mia always gives 100%. If she is in the best category of an award, a win is a guarantee. Mia then meets Michael, a young novelist. It's love at first sight. But he is married to her sister Courtney. He loves his wife more than life itself. But no one can resist Mia. She glows like a treasure in the kingdom of love and longing. She is possessed beyond this world. There is no doubt about that. Her inner glow is supernatural. Meanwhile, Mia is head over heels in love with Michael. Her heart drops in her belly when she thinks about him. Mia then reads his latest novel, Alluring Sin of the Heart, and is taken deeply by it. She would do anything to win his affection like Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind even though he is her sister husband. However, Michael resists the temptation. He likes Mia. It's hard to resist her more than 7 hours. Men dream about her at night and wake up in the morning without their hearts. She has stolen all of them. Hollywood is the Garden of Eden. Mia is the most arresting creature them of all. Yet, Michael doesn't want to come between the sisters. So, Mia turns to Sebastian, who continues to lose his soul in jazz. He becomes historical figure. She seduces him. They have S&M sex. Sebastian then murders her sister, Courtney. In grief, Mia seduces Michael and takes him to the bed. Mia and Michael have the best sex of their lives with all kinds of sexual positions. She gets pregnant. Later, Mia gives birth to a girl but dies in the process. The end. Emma, what, she dies? That is sad. Chris, it is a joke. She doesn't die. She lives but confesses her sin to a priest, marries Michael. She films Alluring Sin of the Heart. In the meantime, Sebastian goes to the history book as the man who changed jazz forever. But still nobody cares about jazz. It's only used in film nori, movies that Mia makes. Mia is phenomenon. The end. Emma, that is impressive. But did you make up the story as usual? Chris, it's not a story. I just put it together to impress you. I don't have the heart to kill Jennifer Lawrence. Emma, we won't kill Jennifer. We can use a different actress, Rachel McAdams. Chris, I love Rachel McAdams. Emma, I love Rachel McAdams too. But she doesn't mind dying in the film. Chris, if you say so. Maybe we will find unknown. Emma, is it musical? Chris, it works either way. It's kind of inspired by Chicago. Emma, make it musical. You could get away with crime. Chris, sure. Emma, I love Alluring Sin of the Heart. But you should work on it under the title of Erotic Kiss. Chris, I will think about it. Emma, anyway, I like how you turned Sebastian from a playboy into a jazz prodigy and psychopathic killer. Emma, I was just thinking how I could use jazz in a film. It's like elementary school. The teacher tells you something. It goes through one ear and comes out the other ear. One teacher comes up with a unique way of teaching. He puts them in songs. All you have to do is remember the songs. You pass the class. It's same thing. Mia sings, dances and acts. Maybe jazz is just an excuse. She is the star of the film. Emma, I am beginning to believe you are one of those people who comes one in a century. Like Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, and Jesus Christ. Chris, they have nothing on me. Emma, where do you get your idea? You are not the devil, are you? Chris, no, I am not. Emma plays Don't Let Me Down Chainsmokers featuring Dia on her cell phone, gets up, begins to sing and dance sensually. She then takes Chris's hand. He gets up. They dance together. Emma, I might have asked you before. I don't remember. But which color of my hair do you prefer, blonde or red? Chris, it doesn't matter. You always look beautiful regardless of what color your hair is. They exchange soft kisses. Emma, everybody has a favorite. They might like both. But deep down in their heart, they slightly favorite one. Chris, it's not up to me. It's what you are comfortable with that matters. Emma, I am comfortable with both. I color my hair red, because it allows me to hide behind my characters, which also ironically or rather technically permits me to face my fear without my knowledge like Olivia in Easy A. It's like hiding behind a French mask. On the other hand, blonde puts me in the hot seat. I have to bare my soul, give everything I have, the depth of my feelings in order to achieve emotional heights, and get lost in the characters like Samantha in Birdman. It's my natural hair. Chris, I am in love with your eyes. It doesn't matter what color your hair is. Emma, something tells me you prefer blonde. Chris, it doesn't matter if your hair is blue, yellow, purple, or orange like Clementine in eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. As long as you open your eyes, snow would fall in Arizona. There will always be Christmas somewhere in the fabric of the cosmos, the birth of a female messiah, and heaven in my heart more enthralling and colorful than flowers in the Garden of Eden and the reflections of the stars, morning stardust, the sun, and twilight on French Riviera, and love the depth of my soul more peaceful than nirvana. The exchange soft kisses. Emma, you are fucking romantic. What's your favorite color? Chris, I don't really have favorite color. Emma, just pick one. They exchange soft kisses. Chris, sky blue. Emma, I will color my hair sky blue and give you a sign whenever I want to work with you. Chris, under his breath, that's insane. They exchange soft kisses. Emma, pay me a compliment. Chris thinks for seconds. He then. Chris, softly by her lips, I have always wanted to whisper these crimes. And in my heart I must have kissed your lips millions of times. And sometime I even ask myself, what is romance? Why I am here in this world? Life, science, God, and even art. Everything that evolve around me, ingenious and smart. The magic I witness every day, what and what. I even let my mind go wild. As splendid as love that's imposing and grand. Take a joyride beyond the farthest universe. Get lost and fall in a divine's hand. And for the truth, I don't have to search far from it. Or even open my eyes to see it. Or go anywhere to feel its presence alight. For mine eternal beautiful heart you are. And the infinite and passion full of love that you pump. Deep down in my veins, throughout my body, day and night. Darlin', you take and transcend me in different dimensions. Beyond God's glory, excel ecstasy. Past divinity, I get lost in hurry. Damn love. It is a beautiful pain. Deep down in my veins, spleen, bone marrows. An essence that hadn't know the meaning of sprain. I feel helpless as if I had been crying in the rain. Yet, sweet memory invades every part of my brain. Cheers me up, and persuades me from going insane. But no one can bear or dare. When truth reveals inside my quintessence. Where am I? Merely to find myself curl in your heart. Like a slave in a lion's den, held with a chain. Asking myself, am I dreaming, or had I been slain? And only with a soft kiss, I realize. The truth lies on your hypnotic eyes. They are like two nights. And millions of stars in green oceans. That are set in motion. Not only do they invite love that search for fever. With excitement and sweet emotions. But they also give me abstract notion. Till they take a hold of my soul like love potions. Your enchanting lips give Aphrodite's secret. Passion that no soul has ever known or felt. They make me fall in love with thee. And kiss you till my heart and blood melt. And if heaven has measure. Your beautiful face is eternal treasure. It's like a rose in the garden of wishes and desire. And softly lit with your delightful smile. Divulges the secret of true love at leisure. And fills my heart with pure pleasure. Till it sends a sudden surge of electricity. The depth of my soul as if my spirit were experiencing the highest climax, and going through orgasm in a seizure. You are mystery, the one and the only for me. My soul, the girl behind my immortality. She smiles in beauty. Emma, you are super romantic. They kiss intimately for long seconds, and part their lips. Emma, Jennifer texted me earlier. She is having a fundraiser thing with Amy at Beverly Hills Hotel. I don't know what it's about. I think something at girls. Let's check it out. Chris, sure. They kiss French. On the soundtrack, Don't Let Me Down, Chainsmokers featuring Dia play with full volume. Chris and Emma continue to kiss more intimately.